everyone, and welcome back to my channel. This is video 5 of the Breast Cancer Thriver series, and today we are talking about mentally preparing for mastectomy. I don't really know exactly where to begin on this topic because it is such a big, scary topic. However, just know that you will have a lot of education from your doctor and people moving forward, and I would definitely reach out if you are going through breast cancer and thinking about mastectomy. I would reach out to ABCD or other mentors or people that you know that have gone through this experience, because it is, for me, it was very traumatic to think of losing one breast, and that was initially what they told me would be required to cut the cancer out of my body. Later on in my chemo sessions, they had a moment of scare there where they thought they found something in the left breast. Coincidentally, out of the process, I decided to do a double mastectomy. Mentally preparing for mastectomy is preparing to have a piece of yourself removed, preparing to have something that represents your femininity removed from your body. And it can be quite traumatic mentally to think that a piece of your body or pieces of your body that represent femininity will no longer be on your body. So that is a mental preparation that you really need to get ready for. You need to be aware of the emotional impact of what this will do to you. Before the mastectomy, I had already gone to this mastectomy boutique where they had prosthetic breasts, and they put it in this thing that's like a bra that can hold those prosthetic breasts in place. So that's something you can look into, or different pieces you can put into sports bras or things like that, just to have something in place, because at the skin level, it's going to be flat. It's going to be, just exactly flat. You won't have your breasts anymore. So that is something to really be aware of, be ready to process. But as far as the mechanical things of actually getting ready for the surgery, the day before, I think they give you this scrub where you have to scrub your whole body. And then the day of, you have to have all your clothes laid out. They should be totally clean. And then they're still going to do their cleaning process when you get into the surgery. The other thing is that you will have drains when you come out of the surgery. There will be seeping from the area that will continue to come, and these drains need to be emptied. I had a home nurse that was coming to my house once a week or twice a week to empty those drains until I learned how to do it myself. So you'll have these contraptions hanging off your body, and one thing to get is to get one of those. They sell them at these mastectomy boutique places, is this kind of undershirt that has these little pockets where you can put your drains in, so that the drains can be walking around with you all day long as they're doing their drainage. So it's quite a big traumatic surgery to have done. It takes a while to recover. You will have these drains, and then the liquid coming out of the drains, you have to measure it, and then once it reaches below a certain amount, then they can start to think of taking the drains out. So then you're going to have to go back and have the drains removed. So it is quite a process to get ready for mentally. And I think, really talk to, once again, as I say, talk to people that have gone through it if you can at all. Get a hold of anybody that's gone through it that can really tell you the honest truth about what's going to happen. Another thing in terms of technicalities and practicalities, which I wasn't really exactly prepared for, although they probably told me, but usually when they're explaining things to you, it just kind of goes over your head, because until you're actually facing it, you don't know what this actually means for your body. So one thing that happened to me is after, especially on the right side, which is where the cancer was, they had to take out more lymph nodes from the right side, whereas the left side they didn't, even though it was a double mastectomy. on the side where I had all these lymph nodes removed, then suddenly the lymph system is not operating functionally, and you can get something called lymphedema, which is a swelling. So it's a swelling of your arm, and I had a really excellent massage therapist who was trained in vodder technique from Switzerland to really reduce that swelling, and they do also teach you some of those massage techniques in the hospital, or if you go to a physiotherapist or a specialty person that's trained in vodder or lymphatic drainage, they can teach you how to do the manual lymph drainage to get the lymph flowing. But at the first day when this happened to me, which was a couple months after the surgery, so I wasn't really expecting it, my arm just puffed up like a Pillsbury Doughboy. Like it just was like, whoa, like it just puffed right up, and I wasn't expecting it. So then I found out this is lymphedema. So this is another thing you should be aware of after the surgery, is get ready that you may or may not have lymphedema, depending on how many lymph nodes they had to remove from your arm area, your underarm area. But this is something that can happen. And one thing they told me after is that I would have to, after I found out that I had lymphedema and I was diagnosed with lymphedema, they told me that I would have to wear a sleeve every single day the rest of my life, which was, I haven't actually been doing that, but that is what they told me at the time. So I would have to wear a sleeve with a glove. And there's special ones. You should really do your research, because interestingly enough, the sleeve that they first gave me when I first came out of surgery and was diagnosed with lymphedema was, it kind of cramped my arm at the top and the bottom. So it was actually not preventing lymphedema, it was actually causing it, because it was cramping my arms in the two positions you don't want to cramp. So you need a sleeve that provides that flow of the lymph and doesn't cramp at the shoulder and the wrist. So check it out. There are different sleeves out there, so make sure you're getting a good one. And if in doubt, I would contact someone who is familiar with manual lymph drainage or the vodder technique to make sure that that sleeve is actually a good one to be wearing. So they told me after I was diagnosed that from now on, every time I got on a plane, I would have to, well, first of all, they told me I'd have to wear it every day, which I have not done. But they said, okay, well, definitely whenever you get on a plane, you have to wear the sleeve, because you're up in altitude and your lymph is not able to drain as quickly. Every time I get on a plane now, I have to put on my sleeve, put on the glove, and it's a whole big process, and people look at you strange, but that's just one of the side effects of what happens to you after mastectomy. So there's all of these various things that happen that you just have to be ready for, and just ask lots of questions, get yourself prepared. One of the things is the emotional, psychological impact of having your breasts removed, which is a representation of femininity, of being a woman, and that is going to be gone whether or not you decide to do reconstruction surgery. I'm going to be covering that in my next video. And sometimes they can do the mastectomy and they can start the reconstruction within the same surgery. But for me, they wanted me to have the mastectomy, and I think I had to go a year and a half before they would do the reconstruction, just to make sure all the cancer was gone out of my body. So every case is different, every situation is different, but just be aware of what can happen. And not that you need to go and research all the terrible things that could happen thinking it's going to happen to you, but just to be aware and be proactive in case it does happen. You know who to contact, and you have people in place that your support network can help you and get you up and running with physical, mental, emotional, spiritual things that will happen on this whole breast cancer journey. Well, let me know in the comments below if you have any other questions, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.